Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I've got mine. So listen, there's a reason why I'm using my Golden Girls mug today, and I'm going to tell you all about it. But first, I'm going to say thank you very, very much to Tammy. Tammy, thank you so much, sister. And I need to say thank you to Patrick. Patrick, thank you. There was something else I wanted to say to Tammy. That's why I hesitated a little bit. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I mean, like, really, you never say much to me in the messaging, and I get that. You might be an introvert like I am, but you're just always there, and you're just always so supportive, and I just really want to say thank you. It's like words are just never really enough, you know? Thank you. And I want to say thank you to Patrick. Patrick, thank you so much. Always there, silently supporting. And being a real ally, because I've seen the way you've moved. You follow me long enough for me to know how you move, and thank you for moving the way that you move. And I want to say thank you so much to Cynthia. Cynthia, thank you so much. I appreciate you, love. You know, yesterday was such an eventful day. After I got done talking to you guys, I smudged my house, and then I went out in the garden. And I just prayed. And I knew that something was coming. I didn't know what it was, but I knew something was coming. I knew it because the people who support this platform, I mean, they're just going to be people that's going to be supportive. But the support was more generous than usual. And I pay attention to shifts like that. I just do. And so I knew that I had mentioned a couple of things, and some people wanted to be supportive of those things specifically. But I knew that this was different. I found out that one of my kids, listen, you know, when it comes to that library pantry, the parents, I mean, you get some parents that, you know, okay, the part of the pantry that has the food, there are no cameras. There are only cameras in the part, well, there's cameras all over the property, but there are only cameras that are directly in your face and can see, you know, exactly what you're taking in the other part of the pantry. That's the part of the pantry where we keep kind of the fun stuff in there for the kids. You know, headphones, chess, checkers, you know, thinking games, books, bubbles, toys, accessories, just stuff like that. Because the kids, they're babies, and they can get a little greedy. And you have to, you know, limit them down to so many visits per day. They can only come once a day, and they can only take 2 things per day. If I don't do it that way, they'll keep coming back and forth. You know, if they see something that they like, they'll take all of it, and they won't think about the other kids. But, you know, these are babies. They're babies. It's expected. But they're pretty good at, you know, embracing the rules. They don't like the rules, but they're good at embracing the rules. But on the food part of the pantry, that's when the kids tend to be more shy. And they, in front of especially when they come in, you know, groups, they don't want to be the kid in the group that needs the food. And so what they'll do is, after the kids come and they take whatever items they want, like coloring books and crayons or whatever, you know, they take a few books or something like that. Then that one kid that was in that group, I have hours and hours and hours of video that proves this. Okay? This isn't something that I'm just saying out the side of my neck. This is, you can see it. The one kid in the group, they'll come back, usually with the backpack, and then they'll fill up their backpack with the food. Now, some parents are shy, but they aren't as shy as the kids, because the parents are like, hey, it's tight out here. We're going to make it do what it do. So the parents, you know, but I don't, you know, sometimes I'll notice that they'll sit in their car if I'm outside restocking. They'll sit in their car, they'll wait for me to restock, and then they'll come out, you know, because it can be, some people are a little embarrassed by it, but the kids especially are. unless it's like the after school snacks or the before school breakfast. They're not too shy about grabbing stuff on the go in that case. But when it comes to things like hamburger helper, tuna, I always try to keep enough stuff in there for them to make a soup or a stew. And then cornbread, boxed cornbread, stuff like that. You know, beans, rice, just stuff that stretches. I always try to make sure that there's a protein in there, that there's a carb in there, and that there's a fruit, you know, like canned fruit. Like right now we've got plenty of fruit cocktail and crushed pineapple in there. You know, y'all know what I mean. And then, you know, or quick microwavable meals, you know, like those Hormel meals, or, you know, macaroni and cheese, or, you know, stuff, just stuff like that, shelf stable food. We're real good about keeping stuff in there like that. And so there was this one little girl one time, the kids said, hey, there's food over here in this one. And she's like, that food is probably old. And so I made sure that I said, I spoke through the mic because they had both cabinets open. I said, young lady, that food is fresh, because I don't ever want that getting said about, we put a lot of work into that library pantry. All that food is fresh. I go out of my way and I make it. I was offended. Yes, a child offended me. I was offended because I make sure that things are rotated in, rotated out. I make sure that I'm out there with that library pantry checking dates. If anything is out of date, we toss it, you know, because again, I have homeowners insurance on this property, and we don't want to be liable for anyone getting sick. Plus, I wouldn't want anyone to get sick off of anything that I'm giving to them. So we take great care with that. Great care with that. And the other kids just kind of like put the food back. And, you know, but she was the same kid that said that comes back when nobody's looking, and she gets food and she fills up her bags. Sometimes she comes with her mother. Sometimes she comes alone. Well, yesterday, I learned that this same kid, you know how people do those videos on TikTok where they film themselves in empty apartments or houses and say, I just had enough for the deposit? That's their situation. Long story short, she opened up to me a little bit yesterday and let me know that she was sleeping on the floor. And I don't know how long. I know where they live because I've caught them either, you know, like when I'm coming back from someplace or leaving to someplace. She only lives up the street and around the corner. And so I know that they've lived there long enough for them to have secured a bed for her. And it's just her and the mother. And it's a real little house, probably like a little 2-bedroom house. Real little house. One of the smallest houses on the block. And we have those types of houses, you know, every so often. And she told me she didn't have a bed. And she was one of those kids that was getting a lot of the bedroom stuff. You know, remember those lights I showed you guys that I put in there? That, you know, those neon lights that you plug in, night lights and stuff. And she gets stuff like that. Remember, she got one of the jewelry boxes. So she's been around. I mean, they're new, but they're not that new. Like I said, long enough for her to have had a bed. Well, long story short, I'm going on and on into too much details here. But she didn't have a bed. And today, we're going to be ordering her a bed. And I was also able to include some pillows. And I'm going to look and see what I got left and see if I can get some sheets for her. But this is why we have to really talk to kids and pay kids attention, especially the youth. Because what can look like one thing in a person, even with our children, because they're just little people. And they're experiencing trauma and poverty and hardship. And they are responsive to those things the same way adults are. And she just felt safe enough to tell me that they didn't have a bed, but she was by herself yesterday. And we just got to talking. And I said, well, how come, you know, you don't have a bed? And she said, and I thought, oh, okay. And so we're going to be ordering her a bed today. I followed her on home. I talked to her mother. Because, you know, you have to approach these kinds of things carefully nowadays because people get so offended with you, you know. And I didn't want to offend anybody. I didn't want to do no harm. I didn't want nobody to feel a certain way. I just wanted the little girl to have a bed. You know, I used to be an Amazon product reviewer. Once upon a time, I used to could get her a bed like that for free. You know, they were throwing beds literally at me, Amazon, at one point. You know, take this one and review it. Take this one and review it. And I would, you know, give those beds away to black people. You know, when I was an Amazon product reviewer, that was a great time because I'm not gonna lie, these were brand new things that Amazon sent to me. Brand new. I haven't been a product reviewer for Amazon for at least in over a year now. It's been a little over a year now. But they will send you brand new items when you become an Amazon product reviewer, and you get to keep the items. You just have to review the items for them. So these are things that are brand new. There's even racism in that, because depending on your zip code, like they were sending the white reviewers like whole patio sets, brand new appliances, but us black folks in the black community, we couldn't get those things. They were sending the Amazon truck to them, to their door. And I know this because one time I got a mirror and I didn't realize that the mirror was so big, and an Amazon truck, not the cargo vans, a truck delivered that mirror. And I sold it to this white guy who was rehabbing a home, and I sold it to him for $200. It was a $600 mirror. Yep. But anyway, and the prices are always high until after the reviews come in and people kind of decide how they feel about the product, about it. You know, these are new, brand new things that the public sometimes aren't even able to access yet. So anyway, I would sell all those things on Marketplace to the white folks. And mind you, you know, you hate to make everything about racism, but white people have more resources than black people. And yeah, I would give those things away to black people who needed them. I would find homes for those things for black people who needed them. So in that respect, I love being an Amazon product reviewer. But I hate that I'm not, because I could get her a bed, I could get her a mattress, I could hook up a whole bedroom for her if I were a product reviewer again. But I'm not. But in the meantime, in between time, y'all were extra generous. And so now I can get this child this bed. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone in the last couple of days, especially, who donated, because y'all made that possible. And this is the Library Pantry doing good work. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much. Now, with that being said, have you all canceled Hulu yet? Did y'all catch Tabitha Speaks Politics live yesterday? I don't know what all she talked about in her live. I came in somewhere in the middle, towards the end, actually. And she was talking about, you know, everybody is canceling Hulu and Disney because of what went down with Jimmy Kimmel. And, you know, I wouldn't be the person that I am if I didn't say I feel kind of a way about it. And let me explain why. I feel a way about it because I wish Colin Kaepernick had got the same kind of support when his First Amendment right was being trampled over. And he couldn't say what he wanted to say, and all he said was that my life and Black Lives Matter. That's all this man said, and he lost his job. And someone tried to argue the point with me on social media yesterday that it wasn't the same thing. Yes, the fuck it is. Yes, the fuck it is. Colin Kaepernick got fired for saying something that people didn't like while he was on his job. Why the fuck it ain't? It's the same thing. And not only did all these white liberals not stand behind him, but a lot of black people didn't either. And I am very proud to say that in my household, we still don't watch NFL football. We still don't watch it. I don't watch it. My husband don't watch it either. We are still supporting Kaepernick in this house. Now, I know y'all gonna get on me about this. Did I cancel Hulu? No, I didn't. I don't subscribe to Disney. Because Disney's Disney. I didn't learn until a lot later on that Disney owns Hulu. But, and I believe ABC too. People are canceling their ABC subscriptions too. And boycotting ABC. Boy, if Kaepernick could have just got this kind of a response, it would have been amazing, you know? His own people didn't stand behind him the way they're standing behind Jimmy Kimmel. And, you know, and I understand what someone said in the comments of a video that I watched yesterday that it's not about Jimmy Kimmel. I get it, but Jimmy Kimmel was the catalyst. It wasn't about Colin Kaepernick either. It was about Black Lives Mattering. That's what it was about. The Golden Girls is easily accessible to me, excuse me, via Hulu, the Hulu app. I can watch it whenever I want. Once upon a time, I was very sad. Excuse me. I was very sad. And I was sinking into the depths of depression. A lot was going on in my life. A lot of hard shit. And every day that I woke up during this period of time, trigger warning, I thought about self-harming, harming myself, unaliving myself. Excuse me. I need to remember to hit on my inhaler before I start these videos. Lord knows I need it first thing in the morning. I think about that time. And I mean, all I did was just stay in bed. I wasn't well. I wasn't taking care of business. I wasn't taking care of myself. And the only thing that I had to look forward to, was 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And during that time slot, Monday through Friday, you would get back-to-back episodes of The Golden Girls. It was the only thing that I looked forward to. It was the one thing that I look forward to, like every single day. Every single day. And the weekends were hard because I didn't have them on the weekends. To this day, nothing pulls me out of depression like The Golden Girls. To this day. They got me through one of the hardest moments of my whole entire black ass life. They did. And they do it for me every single time. I have seen each one of those episodes no less than 200-300 times. Easy. And I always manage to laugh and feel just this much better after watching an episode of The Golden Girls. Now, I know that there are other platforms that I can watch The Golden Girls on, but I can't demand it like I can on Hulu. If somebody knows something different, let me know. Excuse me. I believe that I can on the Sling platform, which we do have, but they don't have all the episodes of The Golden Girls. I know that for a fact, being a big fan and all. I know that I need to be in solidarity, and I know that I'm going to get there. I know that I'm going to get there. It just ain't going to be today. And it probably ain't going to be tomorrow neither. And to be honest with you, it probably ain't going to be next week neither. But I know that I'll get there. It's just because of my history, it's going to take me a minute to get there. It is. I'm not in a real hurry to cancel Hulu and say goodbye to my girls. And that's just how I feel about it. You know, when I was having that conversation about Kaepernick, and she was trying to tell me, well, it's not about Jimmy Kimmel. And I said, yeah, but here's the thing, though. When they went after Colin Kaepernick's free speech, maybe what happened to Kimball wouldn't have happened. Maybe the first time someone gets their free speech trampled on, we need to be stepping up. I think that we have to be more honest about the fact that we, the collective of America, are a big reason why we are here right now. We are living in a dictatorship. This is fascism. It is. This is fascism. And we are in a lot of danger. But part of the reason why we're in so much danger right now, and we are in harm's way right now, and we have all this clear and present danger all around us, is because we remained silent and we sat still when it was happening to somebody else. And that's just the truth. That is all that I have for today. With that being said, if you would like to support the platform, buy me a cup of coffee, support the Library Pantry, I will leave my Cash App and my Venmo down in the comments. Thank you so much for listening today and hearing me out. And I'll get there. I'll get there. Have a good one.